Alright, hello and welcome back to Let's Play yet another no-name MAME game. Today's no-name MAME game is, of course, Jackal by Konami, 1986. So first you think maybe it's a crazy game about controlling a wolf. Maybe it's a crazy game about shooting airplanes. Maybe it's a crazy shoot-'em-up. Well, it's all of the three, because we're in a Jeep, but we're all constantly shooting up. So it's not quite like a run around, beat 'em up, kind of run and gun sort of thing, but at the same time, it's not quite like a shoot 'em up in that your ship can go anywhere you want. Well, okay, maybe it is a bit like a shoot 'em up. I don't know, it's just so weird when, maybe it's the fact that, like, nothing's scrolling. Like, in a shoot 'em up, your ship is constantly being forced upward, but in this game, you can kind of pursue at your own pace. Although, interestingly, it doesn't seem like the developers added any sort of timer or any sort of incentive to keep you going. Maybe the water in the background kind of like slowly creeps up a la the Bible Adventures or something? The game with the unicorn that I played like a long time ago. The water slowly crept up as an incentive to, you know, keep going on. Wow. I mean, even though it plays almost exactly like a shoot 'em up, just like a simple little detail of being able to move at your own speed. And also, too, you constantly have little guys trying to flank you, making a, some sort of shot being able to shoot behind you, like, seemingly twice as essential, and yet you've got nothing. Oh, cool, your little car makes, like, little dust tracks when you're moving, but when you stop, they're gone. Which is about how you'd expect. Second button controls grenades, but, they're a little bit of dubious use. It's not entirely clear where they're gonna go. And we can't ram this or anything, and we can't... Oh, do we have unlimited grenades? Well, someone's going on auto-fire. I gotta say, this is like one of the first times I've ever put, like, the bombs on auto-fire. So are we supposed to help these guys, or hurt them, or... Oh, okay, we just kind of pick them up into our car. Fortunately, the auto-fire grenades is working against us. Ah, that's hilarious. Then they all just kind of run around. They're like, no, help us, save us. Whoop is a madman. Oh, wow. That's pretty great. Like, you're supposed to help all these pals, but it's like as soon as... Actually, yeah, this is kind of terrible, because then it's like you die. Oh my god. Well, one, that's like a very beautiful representation of how far we have to go. And two, hey, what? There's no continue. I guess I can't be too surprised. It is a Konami game from like the mid-80s. They've got like all skill-based, but still. Actually, this name entry screen seems tremendously responsive to the touch. I gotta give them props for that. That puts it at slightly above average. Well, okay, average is of course a relative term. I'm comparing it to an average of some game that quite frankly doesn't exist. There really isn't like some sort of average with this, because I'm constantly gonna say like above average or terrible or above average. So make of it what you will. And we'll cross along. We know how to play this. Okay. Even though he's shooting tiny little shots, how much you want to bet he can completely take out the Jeep? It always seemed a little weird. I mean, come on, your spaceship's got to be able to like take some shots. Okay, evidently you don't want to keep grenades on auto-fire. Oh, sweet, now we've got a rocket launcher. So I guess we're supposed to just kind of run around and shoot everything in sight, trying to save the pals. Oh, okay, so buildings only explode once. Which seems like a bit of a subtle point, but it happens. Okay. Interesting. Compare and contrast to Time Pilot. Time Pilot was a shoot-'em-up, but it was also technically free roaming. I mean, your ship always constantly moved forward, so it wasn't as free roaming as you'd imagine, but it was still kind of cool. So okay, you can finally shoot backwards now that I've realized that the grenades are a thing. But at the same time, I mean, definitely a little wonky with the, well, it doesn't really feel wonky, but it constantly does create some sort of tension, like only being able to shoot your regular shot up, so you constantly either have to, like, compensate with your bomb, or you have to, maneuver around. Your choice, really, and that's kind of cool. This game does kind of give you, like, all the choice you want when approaching it, and it kind of, like, lets you figure it out on your own terms, on your own speed. Unfortunately, there is one thing that the game oh, come on! And then they just kind of escape away. Because, hey, they're in it for freedom, not for camaraderie. Whatever, guys. Only saved your lives. Yeah, it is kind of interesting in that the grenade is treated more like a alternative weapon rather than like some sort of special weapon. So it does kind of add a little bit to the game. I mean, I guess that's not explicit, really that new, but it is a little novel, especially for like the mid-80s games. Okay, yeah, so most games like this age, they'd have like a dedicated bomb and they'd have a dedicated thing. Although, in thinking about shoot-em-ups, I guess it really wasn't standard in shoot-em-ups to have like that sort of life-saving bomb that you only have like one of per life. I guess that's more of a staple of like the mid-90s shoot-em-ups where they sort of like had their own little genre, and it's like they had everything worked out. They knew how it was going to go, basically, each time around. Gosh, yeah, I mean, you saw that picture in the beginning of, like, how far we have to go. Come on, come on. You know I want to play more. Well, okay, that might have been a little bit of an exaggeration. I kind of don't want to play more. Especially because it seems like the kind of game that you'd want to play over the course of, like, days, months, or even years, as you slowly inch your way up to the top. I mean, you kind of don't want to play, like, 5 games all in a row, or else you're going to get a little burned out on Jackal. But still, I mean, that was, like, yet another in Konami's wide portfolio of pretty sweet games back in the day. In fact, actually, why didn't they put this on, like, the Konami Collector's Series Advance for the DS, or any of their other collections, quite frankly? Because it's a pretty nice game. I mean, it's not, like, super refined, but it's on the level of, like, all their other games. And they didn't have a whole lot of vertical shoot-em-ups, as I remember, so this game sort of like a vertical shoot-em-up, so, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good game, but it's not the kind of game you can sit down and play over and over again, or play for a long time. So, yeah. So on that note, this cat's got a scat.